split. We're talking about Rehoboam, the king of Judah. We're talking about Jeroboam, the king of Israel, the 10 northern tribes, Judah and Benjamin being the 2 southern tribes. Okay, so we got the 10 northern tribes that are now split apart, and we're hearing about that and these sins of Jeroboam. Okay, Rehoboam isn't clean either. Okay, but we got the sins of Jeroboam ends up being a big deal because Israel gets scattered among the nations. Okay, then that happens a little later. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, and for Shechem were all Israel to come to make king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whether he fled from the presence of Solomon the king, heard it, that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt. And they sent and they called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came to spake to Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat of the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Come again unto me the days after 3, and the people departed. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that stood before Solomon and his father, while he yet lived, saying, What counsel ye give me to return and answer to his people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with him, and stood before him. And he said unto them, What advice ye give me to return answer to this people? And he spoke to me, saying, Ease somewhat the yoke of thy father did put on us. So they asked a question, and the young men that were there brought up with him, and spake to him, saying, Thus shall the answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but thou make it somewhat lighter for us. And thus shall say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. For whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Crazy, huh? Yikes. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the king bade, and saying, Come again unto me the 3rd day. And the king answered them roughly. And King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men, and answered them after the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add there to my father chastise you with whips, I will chastise you with scorpions. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of God, that Jehovah might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam and the son of Nebat. And all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them. The people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? We have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to your tents, O Israel. And now, David, see to thy own house. And to all Israel went to their tents. But as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So, the people that were of the 10 northern tribes that still lived in and around Jerusalem and those cities, they fell under King Rehoboam. And when King Rehoboam sent Hadoram, that was over the tribute, the children of Israel stoned him. Okay, so they weren't listening. They said, We've had enough of this guy. And they stoned him. So they weren't going to be paying any taxes to that guy. And the children of Israel stoned him with stones, and he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And all Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. Unto this day. And, okay, so this is chapter 11. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered to the house of Judah and Benjamin, and 180,000 were chosen men, which were warriors to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of Jehovah came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, the king of Judah, and to all Israel and Judah and the Benjamin, saying, Thus saith Jehovah, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, and return every man to his house. For this young thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of Jehovah, and returned from going against Jeroboam. So the Shemaiah, as we read in 1 Kings, the man of God. Okay, he's the man of God from 1 Kings 13, and he in 1 Kings 12, he tells the same thing. Okay, it's the same story, him telling Rehoboam not to go to war against Jeroboam. And Jeroboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for the defense of Judah. And he built even Bethlehem and Etham and Tekoa and Beth-shur and Shokah and Adul and Gath and Marash and Ziph and Adoram and Leash and Akenaz and Zorah and Ashdod and Hebron, which are in Judah, and Benjamin fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds, and he put captains in them, and he stored victuals of oil and wine. And in every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceedingly strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests that were Levites when all of Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. So all the Levites came unto Judah, and they stayed away from Israel, because Israel was, we're going to read about the sins of Jeroboam. And for the Levites left their suburbs and their possessions and came to Judah and Jerusalem, for Jeroboam and his son had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto Jehovah. And he ordained him priest of high places for the devils and for the calves which he had made. Okay, so Jeroboam was making golden calves in Dan and in Bethel. And then he had priests in high places, which is places of worship where they were doing pagan idolatry. Okay, so they were sacrificing outside the city where God puts his name. A big no-go. And after them, all the tribes of Israel, such their hearts to seek God out of Israel, came to Jerusalem. So the people that were still following God there would come back to worship in Jerusalem, to sacrifice unto Jehovah, God of their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah and made Rehoboam the son of Solomon there 3 years. And they walked in the way of David and Solomon. And Rehoboam took him Malath, the daughter of Jeremoth, and the son of David, to wife, and Abithiel, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse, which bare him children, Janosh and Samarath and Zama. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abijah and Atai and Zia and Shelomoth. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines, and he took 18 wives, 80 concubines, and begat 28 sons and 80 daughters. And Rehoboam made Abijah, the son of Maacah, the chief, to be ruler among the brethren, for he thought to make him king. And he dwelt wisely and dispersed all of his children throughout the countries of Judah and Benjamin, and gave unto every fenced city, and he gave victuals in abundance, and desired many wives. And this is chapter 12. And it came to pass, when Rehoboam established the kingdom, and he had strengthened himself, for he forsook the law of Jehovah. Okay, he forsook the law of Jehovah. As he forsook the 10 commandments, folks, the Holy Covenant, and all of Israel with him. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of Rehoboam, Shishak, the king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because he had transgressed against Jehovah. So Jehovah sends Egypt against him. With 1,200 chariots, 80,000 horsemen, and the people were without number, came to him of Egypt with Lubims and Shechems and the Ethiopians. And he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then Shemaiah the prophet of Rehoboam to the princes of Judah that were gathered together to Jerusalem, because Shilshak, and said unto them, Thus saith Jehovah, ye have forsaken me, therefore I have also left you in the hands of Shilshak. Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said, Jehovah is righteous. And when Jehovah saw that they humbled themselves, the word of Jehovah came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance from my wrath shall not be poured upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shilshak. Okay? Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. So Shilshak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, took away the treasures of the house of Jehovah and the treasures of the king's house. And he took all, and he carried away also the shields of gold which Solomon had made. Instead of which the king Rehoboam made shields of brass and committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard and kept the entrance of the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of Jehovah, the guard came and fetched them and brought them again into the guard chamber. When he humbled himself, the wrath of Jehovah turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. Also in Judah, things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned, for Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he was reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, and the city which Jehovah had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there, and his mother's name was Naamah, and the Amorites. And he did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek Jehovah. He did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek Jehovah. A poor and contrite spirit is the heart condition that God's looking for. That's Isaiah 66. The poor and contrite heart that trembleth at my word. Now the acts of Rehoboam, the first or the last, they are not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Edo the seer concerning the genealogies. And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David, and Abijah his son reigned in his stead. There you go, folks. Okay, so now we get the little nitty-gritty, where Rehoboam strengthened the cities, but then he wasn't obeying the Ten Commandments, the law of God. And that's why it's also called the covenant of peace. Because if you follow his Ten Commandments, you'll have peace in your land. If you do not follow his Ten Commandments, you will not have peace in your land. It's that simple.